introduce me to Lula.
Where did we go for your Christmas present?
Disney World.
Oh my gosh, what did you think about it?
Good.
Good? Were you surprised?
Yes.
Yes.
We're back from Disney and I'm here with my post-Disney trip report. We've been home for a week, 2 weeks, I don't know. We've been home for a little bit. I figured I could debrief y'all on our trip. We did stay 6 nights, or we went to all 4 of the parks. We went to Magic Kingdom for 2 days. I'm gonna kind of break down what was different, what stayed the same from my pre-trip, and I'll give some like reviews or tips if I have any. I did spend time really planning this trip, our fast passes, just a touring plan for each day. And in the end, do I feel like making a touring plan for each day helped us? I do. Did we necessarily do every little thing laid out as it said? No, but definitely if we would have just went in without really doing that, we would have had to wait in a lot more lines, I think. First off, this trip was supposed to be a surprise to Tallulah, and our plan to tell her about the trip was basically when we were driving under the big Walt Disney World sign and she saw it, that's how she knows we're there. Depending on what resort or park you're going to, there are all different kind of entrances you can go in to get there. I just assumed that Disney would have thought of that and had something at each possible entrance for people to see that they're kind of entering the bubble, basically. They don't. So when we came rolling up to the Polynesian, we just put it in our GPS and went wherever it said, and there was no kind of special like signage. We rode up to a hotel. That tip might help somebody else who's planning a surprise. I'm not sure what you should put in your GPS, like main entrance to get to that sign, but we did not get to that sign ever. So our first day, we checked in at the Polynesian Resort. We chose a monorail resort because we thought it would be most convenient. We would be on the monorail loop. We still agree with that. We both would love to stay on the monorail loop. I'll talk about the Skyliner later, but we also were interested in staying on the Skyliner kind of route. Check-in was easy, simple. No complaints about checking in, getting our luggage, anything at all to do with the Polynesian, except we stayed in Rarotonga. There was a smoking section basically right outside of the entrance and exit to Rarotonga, which was disgusting. To wake up each morning and be excited, oh, it's a magical day. We're at Disney World, and the second you step outside, you're just greeted with cigarette smoke, and the smell of cigarettes was not magical. And it was also the sidewalk to get to the bus stop was there. Lots of people were cutting on that sidewalk to get to the bus stop. So everybody basically had to walk through that. I don't really see why they would put that there. Doesn't seem like the smartest stop. That was my only complaint. So this day did go as planned. As I said, we ate at Captain Cook's. We stayed at the resort and on the monorail loop. There's a beach. We went to the beach. Tallulah built sandcastles. She swung in a hammock for the first time. You can see Cinderella's castle from there, so she was excited about that. Most of the day, she swam. There's an amazing kids area at the pool, and she stayed there, and Todd and I kind of sat back in the chairs, shared a Dole Whip, which was delicious. And we went on to dinner at Ohana, which was excellent. And then after that, we took the monorail loop and we stopped at the Grand Floridian, looked at the gingerbread house, stopped at the Contemporary, looked at the gingerbread mural. The Grand Floridian was beautiful. Tallulah walked in there. She saw the window and the door for Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique that they now have. And she looked at me and she said, "Mom, we should have stayed here." And I was like, "Excuse me." But anyway. And then the Contemporary we felt was okay. It seemed very crowded, not nearly as impressive as expected. Normal day. The next day, there were some things that changed from my touring plan. So this was our Magic Kingdom day. I wanted to go to the Magic Kingdom the first day because when you think of Disney World, you think of walking down Main Street and seeing that castle at the end. And I really wanted that to be the first thing Tallulah saw, and me. So we had early morning magic tickets that day, which I will get every time. If there's an option to get early morning magic for whatever park, I'm getting it, because my family, we are more early birds. Tallulah does not stay up late. She cannot stay up late. She will pass out. If it's her bedtime and you're at a restaurant, she'll just pass out. The morning, even if you don't have early morning magic, the morning, the lines are much lower. A lot of people are like, I'm on vacation. I'm not here to wake up early, and they come rolling in around 10, and that's when things get berserk. So if you can get there at 9 or 8, if you have, if there are extra magic hours that day, or earlier, if you get early morning magic tickets, you are gangbusters. We rode so many rides. They were all Fantasyland rides, but we covered all of them. We got to ride Mine Train 3 times. That ride's usually like at least an hour-long wait. We rode it 3 times, walk on. Everything was walk on. And then we had breakfast at the end of it. So we rode all those rides several times, some of them. She met 2 princesses. I would recommend that if it is within your means to get those early morning magic tickets. Walk on rides, baby. The breakfast was pretty good. It was a huge mound of breakfast, because technically you can go back, it's all you can eat. So I think they just give you a huge plate so nobody comes back. It was like pancakes and hash browns and eggs and all this sausage and bacon. And then they had a bar with like yogurt and fruits and pastries on top of that. So what did not go as planned on this day were my fast passes. 2 of my fast passes were Peter Pan's Flight and Haunted Mansion. So Haunted Mansion was closed, like half the day at least. It was closed for whatever. They had something to fix. And what they do is they send you a fast pass that you can use on any ride that day. I tried to wait. I was like, well, maybe it'll open in a little bit and we can still use it for Haunted Mansion, because I wanted to keep it on that day because of my plan. But what happened was it did open, but when we went there, like everyone else that had fast passes all morning were lined up, and the line was astronomical. So I said, you know what? No. Because we were going back Friday. It was not our only day. So I moved my Haunted Mansion Fast Pass to Friday, and in place of Splash Mountain, and I used that Fast Pass Monday for Splash Mountain instead. The other was Peter Pan's Flight. Peter Pan's Flight was not listed as an early morning magic ride that would be available, but it was open. So we rode it that morning, and later in the day I was able to change that fast pass to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which we were going to ride Friday. So both of those rides got moved up to Monday. Something I thought was really special that day was we were walking and I saw Peter Pan walking towards us. He came up to her and grabbed her hand, and they walked around Fantasyland together, and Todd and I lagged behind, and he was talking to her about Tinkerbell. Help me find Tink, help me find Tink. And it was the cutest thing. Probably more special to me than her, because Peter Pan was my favorite growing up, and she's not as into Peter Pan as I was, unfortunately. Later that day, we did watch the Festival Fantasy Parade, which was beautiful. It was so beautiful. We had a Crystal Palace reservation that late afternoon, which also went well. Tallulah loved seeing the Winnie the Pooh characters and hugging them and having her picture made. She thought Winnie the Pooh was going to sit with her and eat, I think, but that does not happen, obviously.
What was your favorite thing that you ate?
I think the ice cream at the Winnie the Pooh restaurant.
That plain old soft serve ice cream?
No, I liked it.
Oh my gosh.
We watched Elsa light up the castle, which happens during the Christmas season at 6:15. There's a special little stage show, and Elsa makes the castle look all snowy and icy. And it's actually one of the most beautiful parts of the whole trip, watching that castle be lit up with all the white ice lights. It is pretty magical. The next day was Tuesday, and we went to Animal Kingdom. That day, I did change some things that day. We did not have a fast pass for Kilimanjaro Safari, which was one of the things I was most excited for. And our plan was to rope drop Kilimanjaro. When we arrived, they were letting everyone in, and we did arrive each day for rope drop at least it was at probably about 30 minutes before rope drop. So if they opened at 8, we probably were getting there around 7:30. And it was fun. We were the first group of people that were lined up at Africa for rope drop, and there happened to be a cast member there, and he said, listen, you guys, if you're lining up at Africa and not at Pandora, I'll assume that you're lining up for the safari. And I'll tell you, I drove the safari for X amount of years, whatever he said, 15 years. And that first ride in the morning, the animals are just waking up. So I suggest that maybe you go walk around a bit, let the animals wake up and come back. So that was really awesome of him to kind of be looking out for us, I think. So we did. We walked around the exploration trails and went and saw the Tree of Life. We came back to Africa. It was still, the gates weren't open. We went and I looked on the My Disney Experience app, and I saw that the Tam Tam Harambe drummers performed at 9 when the gates opened, which is something I wanted to see, the African drummers. So we decided we'll do that first and then go to the safari. And that turned out to be perfect. So another tip for you guys, if you're gonna be there at rope drop, we stopped at the Tam Tam drummers. They did their full show, which was one of my favorite parts. One of my favorite parts of Disney World as a whole was Africa and Harambe at Animal Kingdom. But the drummers were very cool. They pulled Tallulah up there all by herself and had her dance, and they pulled me and a lot of other people up there, and it was really fun. So we went from that to Kilimanjaro safaris, and there was a line, but it wasn't long at all, and it moved the entire time. That was really the only major thing that changed. Not true, I just thought of some other things. Expedition Everest. I thought Tallulah was not tall enough to ride that or Space Mountain. I swear she must have grown the week before. I measured her and she was not tall enough, but we got there and she said, Mom, just measure me just to be sure. And she was just tall enough. I mean, the cast members were like, okay. And she rode Expedition Everest. She keeps telling everybody that's one of her top 3 favorite rides.
For big rides and for scary rides.
Yeah, tell people what you rode.
I ride Expedition Everest and Tower Terror. Those were my best ones. And my second best one was Space Mountain. Woo-hoo-hoo.
So in the course of that day, there was a good bit of back and forth of going to different sections. So if I could re-plan, I probably would plan that part to be go a little more smoothly. We were going to Sanaa for dinner, so it was time to leave because we had to bus. So that was the first day that we bused. Sanaa and Ohana were my favorite restaurants that we had the whole time. Sanaa was really good. It's kind of Indian/African, and we would go back. I think we would go back every time. It's really good. Get the bread service. The only thing that didn't really go as I had put on my itinerary that day was that we waited, we did the drummers and then the Kilimanjaro, and that she was actually able to ride Expedition Everest. And I had secured her a fast pass for whatever reason, just in case. So lucky for me, I did that. The next day was Wednesday, and we went to Hollywood Studios. Everything pretty well went to plan at Hollywood Studios, I do believe. A couple of changes. So when we got there early, and they had already let everybody in. There were extra magic hours that day, and we got there I think at about 7:30, 7:20, and people were in riding rides already. We went to Toy Story Land. We had a fast pass for Toy Story Mania. So we went in, we got in line for Slinky Dog, which the line said 45 minutes. It was posted as 45 minutes, but it did not take 45 minutes to get through that line at all. Then we rode Swirling Saucers, where there was maybe a 20-minute wait. And then we met Buzz, we met Woody. Then it was time for our fast pass for Midway Mania, which I did not care about. I was like, it was really fun. The line to meet Woody and Bo Peep was right outside of that ride, and it was very long at this point. So actually what we did, because Todd didn't want to ride that one, so he stood in line. We used our fast pass and rode the ride and came back and joined him in the line, because it is the type of line where the sides are open, so you don't have to shove past everybody to get to your place. It's like you're just walking by and you're there in line. So then we walked through Star Wars or Batuu or whatever it's called. I call it Star Wars Land. I know that's not what it's called. We're obviously not huge Star Wars people. We're gonna go back and watch all of them on Disney Plus, but to walk through the land, even not being like Star Wars fanatics, was amazing. It was like you were there. I wasn't planning on even walking through. I was like, maybe we'll walk through. I'm so glad we did. It was really cool. Then we had fast passes for the Frozen show. I did not plan on meeting Olaf after, but at the end of the Frozen sing-along musical, they say, go meet Olaf, he's right around the corner. And Tallulah was like, gotta meet Olaf. So we ran over there. And then we like inhaled a hamburger at Backlot. I think it's called Backlot Express. It's just like whatever. It's just like a park burger. It's nothing fancy. And Tallulah, though, they were doing that Star Wars show nearby, and you could see it from where we were sitting, where the Jedi training. And she really liked watching that. Maybe I'll go take her to actually do it next time. So from there, Todd really wanted to try the Skyliner. He rode the Skyliner from Hollywood Studios to the Caribbean Resort. There were no major issues or stops. We stopped for just a short moment. Probably they were getting someone with a handicap on. It took a moment and then kept on chugging. And then we had to hop a bus to Disney Springs. So I will say, I'm not a fan of the busing system. I'm just not. It was slow. You had to wait. I feel like you're wasting, it's a time suck. Like you're standing there waiting for the bus for 15 minutes. What a time suck. So at the Caribbean Resort is where we probably waited the longest for the bus. So it's a big, I think it's a sprawling resort. Morimoto was worth the money, worth the dining credits. We used our dining credits and spent extra. But also it is our favorite type of food, Asian food, Thai food. That's our bag, baby. And we like dumplings, we like dim sum, we like bao buns. So we ate all of it. The next day was Epcot. Our plans were to eat around the world. Oh, this was my shirt for Epcot. My day did change a bit from plans on this day because I was concerned there was an extra magic hour, which means all the parks that usually open at 9 opened at 8. We were only planning to do World Showcase on this day, which that's what we did. But the only parts of World Showcase that open at 9 are, to my knowledge, Norway and Italy, the bakery in Italy. And then they don't open, nothing else opens until 11. So we were concerned that if nothing was open at 8 o'clock that we could do except Norway, that we would have a lot of time between 8 and 11 where we were just standing there, I don't know, bored. So we went a little later than I had planned. That was a mistake. Because we waited like that, we walk up and the line to meet Anna and Elsa was so long. It was so long. The lady was talking about, oh, this is an hour long. We got in the line and it was about 45 minutes to wait for Anna and Elsa. If you ask her what's her favorite, she will not say Frozen, but that day she lit up to meet Anna and Elsa.
What was your favorite character that you met?
Rapunzel.
Rapunzel?
Yeah.
Did you like to meet the characters?
Yes.
We saw the Christmas storytellers. We only saw 2 of them. We ate lots of good food. I would say the best thing that we ate that day was the food at the Chinese Festival of the Holidays booth. That was probably our favorite. We did get rained on that day. We had brought ponchos that were fine, but still your shoes get soaked through. So that's a big tip that I have, is to bring waterproof sandals. I don't care who you are. I'm not the type of person that wears that type of footwear. I don't feel cute in it, but I will never go back to Disney World again without waterproof sandals, because walking around with wet tennis shoes on is not fun. It feels gross and nasty. So take some Tevas or, Croc sandals, some kind of waterproof sandal. The next day was our last day in the parks. It was our second day in the Magic Kingdom. I would say that day it went according to plan. except the party wasn't quite what I expected. We got there, we went straight to Space Mountain. It was the only thing I didn't have a fast pass for. Guess what? Space Mountain was closed down, baby. Eventually, we did get back to Space Mountain probably around 9:30, just before 10. So we got back to Space Mountain and the line was like 25 minutes. We did change. We originally had a dining reservation for Liberty Tree Tavern that day, and I changed it to lunch at the Beast Castle because we changed our Morimoto dining was at like 3 o'clock. Remember that tip I gave y'all about there's 1 dining credit if you can go in the lunch menu and 2 at dinner? We just said we wanted more time at Hollywood Studios, so we moved Morimoto back to dinner. It took 2 table service credits on the dining plan. So instead of going to Liberty Tree Tavern, we changed it to a quick service. So Be Our Guest is considered a quick service. So anyway, that changed. It rained on us that day for like the middle of the day. It rained. Our shoes got soggy again, but it was fine. We jumped into PhilharMagic while it was raining, which is a 3D movie, which that I did not plan to do at all, and it was actually, I'm so glad we did it. It was really fun, but my shoes were soggy the rest of the day and night. So here's the party situation. The party starts technically at 7, but if you have a ticket for the Christmas party, they will let you in at 4. They're supposed to let you in at 4. I have been told in past years that people start lining up to meet Sandy Claus, which is Jack Skellington in his Santa Claus suit with Sally, at around 2 or 2:30, and that they would start letting people meet at 4. We kind of went up to the town hall where the meet is around 3 and noticed that there was no line and nothing was posted, so we weren't so worried about it. There was a young gentleman, cast member, and he told me that we're not going to start giving out wristbands until 4 p.m. on the dot. I noticed all these people walking in, which is why I went. They were walking around with the Christmas party wristbands on already. I think some of the cast members inside the parks were told that and they were following the rules, and others were not. So when we noticed that that gentleman had been switched out for another cast member, we went to the young lady that was placed there. It was still a little before 4. It was probably like 3:45. And she was like, yes, right this way. And we got our wristband like everybody else was doing. We went back to town hall to get in line for Sandy Claus, and they said, yes, the meet starts at 4, you can start lining up. No, it started at 4:30. We did not wait long at all. In the past, I've heard tale of people waiting 2 and 3 hours to see Sandy Claus. I feel like we waited like 30 minutes, maybe 40. So it didn't feel bad at all. It does seem like they are making changes to avoid that long queue for Sandy Claus, because you can't line up unless you have a wristband. So if you don't have your wristband until 4, you can't start queuing at 2. They bill this party as, there's so much to do, you're paying for this extra ticket price, but look at all these things you can do, when the reality of it is you can't really do all the things. I mean, I knew that, but it was worse than I thought. So if you're an adult or you have teenagers, you probably can do most of the things, or maybe even all the things, because you can go to the parade that's at like 10 o'clock at night. And so you can use the rest of the night to ride rides with little to no lines and go around and get all these free cookies and do things like that, and do the fireworks and the parade late. But if you're going with a small child who is not capable of staying up, it is harder to look. Did stay up till the parade. The parade was 8:30. We were like, please stay awake just through the parade, and she did. So we met Sandy Claus. We got like one of the cookies. They were not really on time with setting up all the cookie stops, I don't feel. And we did ride maybe 2 rides, maybe 3. But that was really it, because people started staking out parade spots so early. Like probably was not necessary for them to start lining up on the curb that early for the parade. It was not a sold out Christmas party. The parade was my main priority for the party. I wanted a curb spot. the curb was filling up. So basically, we had to spend the whole party sitting on the curb because she didn't last longer than the parade. So we couldn't do anything after the parade, and we knew that. We were expecting that. But we thought we'd be able to do a few more things before we would have to line up on the curb. No, people line up too early. The last day, we had a breakfast reservation at Ohana. So that's it, that's my trip. My post-trip review, it went pretty close to as I planned it. That's something that I believe in my life. I plan a lot. I make a lot of lists. Every trip we go on, I plan each day, and we don't usually stick to what I planned, but everything just goes much more smoothly if you start with a plan. It works in your favor. That's what we found in our lives, and that's what we found at Disney World. If you need help with that, I did use a Disney planner, so if I had questions, obviously I did a lot of the research and wanted to plan it myself, but any questions I had, my Disney planner would help me. She's been a lot of times I had never been. If you do not pay a Disney planner, I'm not a Disney planner. I don't get paid any money or any commissions for talking about this, but you don't pay a Disney planner, Disney does. So it's like, why wouldn't you use a Disney planner? They can wake up at 5 a.m. and book your fast passes for you. Hello. I didn't utilize that because I'm kind of a personality when it comes to planning, but if you would like information from my Disney planner, just comment below and I will send you her email. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sitting through this. I know it was a long video, but I had a lot to say. It's Disney World. I think this could help some of you guys who are planning. If you have any questions that I didn't hit on, please ask below. Any tips for our next trip, please leave below. Please subscribe. Please hit the bell for notifications. Please like this video, please comment below. And this is meant to be a companion to my Instagram at MillennialMomJD. Please find me there. So again, thank you guys and have a magical day.
Bye-bye.
See, should people go?
Yeah.
Should they take their kids?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any more questions?
I don't have any more questions. Do you have anything else you'd like to say about Disney World?
Thank you for watching. Have a magical day.